This Barnum and Bailey Circus World Museum postcard was sent to us from Frank, who says, I'm on a quest to visit all of the Wisconsin Historical Society museums this summer. Wow. First stop was Circus World, which begs the question, what is your favorite movie about the circus, other than The Greatest Showman? No, not that one.
Best movie about the circus? You know what? I'm going to go rogue and say The Bride, the remake of The Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
Whole section with the late David Rappaport.
Oh, David Rappaport. I was a big fan of that guy.
I used to watch that show, The Wizard.
He was in Time Bandits.
The whole section that's all set in the little circus that the creature goes to, that's really sweet, mainly because of the relationship that builds between the two characters.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of that movie.
So, yeah, The Bride, that's got some good circus scenes.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, Big Top Pee-wee.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like every other episode of HBO's Tales from the Crypt was set in a circus.
Yeah, really. When you go to our website, welcometothebasementshow.com, there are all of our episodes there, the entire back catalog that you can catch up on. And also there are PayPal donation buttons where you can click on those and make a one-time or rolling monthly donation to support our show. Some of our rolling monthly donors are these people: Luke, Amber, Thomas, Jed, Kieran, Catherine, Harrison, Marissa, Larissa, B.A., Mikey D., Chris, Laura, Brett, Kai, Dave, Martin, Caitlin, Beth, Guide, Maurizio, Einar, Jason, and Sella. The rest of our rolling monthly donors later in the show. Now, I understand that you do things on the internet as well. Would you like to talk about them?
You can find me on TikTok, where I do extensive summaries of the show Buck Rogers, the entirety of both V miniseries, V and V the Final Battle, and also covering right now a show called Nowhere Man from the 1990s, because I feel like it's sort of low-key the most 1990s show there is. And as I admitted to you when I first arrived, I more or less kind of lifted the entire structure of Welcome to the Basement for how I do things. I was very delighted to see more or less you do things exactly the same way. I did make a web series that's kind of a COVID version of Twilight Zone called Stay Home, which you can find on YouTube at youtube.com/stayhome2020. But if you want to follow me on TikTok, just look up my name, Rob Matsushita.
And now viewer questions. Langley M. Neely, what was the last film you were convinced would be terrible, but you came away loving it? Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Really?
I don't know why I thought that was going to be a bad movie. I maybe had heard something from someone. I probably saw a trailer and thought, well, this is going to be real cute. It was genuinely cool and genuinely funny, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I can watch that movie over and over and over again and not get tired of it. It's my movie that I thought wasn't going to be good ended up being good. Captain Phillips.
Oh, I love that.
My wife and I and a friend watched all of Tom Hanks' movies over COVID.
Wow.
And we watched Captain Phillips with it projected on the side of my garage. And I gotta tell you, it was a great experience. But I live in Minneapolis, and that's where they got most of the Somali characters from. They're all Somalian refugees who lived in Minneapolis.
There's a big Somali community there.
Right. My wife teaches adult education English to refugees and immigrants typically. And so there was a little bit of overlap between the people that she teaches and the pool that they got all of these actors from, who are all really friends in real life. And they're amazing. These actors are fantastic. It's honestly one of the best hostage drama movies I've ever seen.
Hanks' final scene at the end of the movie with the nurse, that's the best acting he's ever done.
Oh my God. The way that Tom Hanks plays trauma is a level of performance that we have never seen from Hanks.
No. During the pandemic, I watched all of the original Star Trek series and all of the Twilight Zones.
Oh, yeah.
That was my project.
So Ryan Holland asks, is there a movie soundtrack that is better than the movie itself? The best example I can think of is the soundtrack to Twilight New Moon. The soundtrack slaps, and the movie sucks. Wisdom, directed by Emilio Estevez, which has a fantastic score by Danny Elfman.
Huh.
It's a very different Danny Elfman score, too.
It's not just...
Yeah, it's not that. In fact, if anything, it seems like he's kind of channeling Stuart Copeland. It's a very synthy score.
Yeah.
It's a different score than he's ever done. It almost convinces you that you're watching a much better movie than you're actually watching.
I would say the Batman Forever soundtrack, which is a terrible movie in my opinion, but the soundtrack is really great, and it features, I think, one of U2's best songs of all time, which is Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me, which is a great song.
Yeah.
And it's got a Method Man song on there. It's some really good stuff.
Yeah. Which is funny because of those 4 Batman movies, it's the only one I like, is the Batman Forever one, because I think it's the only one that knows it's stupid.
And now Rob's going to tell us who the rest of our rolling monthly donors are.
Bernard, JP, Alfred, Mary Beth, Shelby, RPC Services, Reed, Grant, Anna, Jerry, Jared, Jeff, Riley, Lindsay, Abraham, and Sean.
You know, with those glasses, it kind of looks like if you look at a certain Ark of the Covenant, your face might just melt off.
I wish I had more character to warrant wearing these glasses. But
You got to get a hat like this.
Yeah. Tot was the first character I saw in a movie that made me realize how important a good villain is. I love that character. The second I saw him on screen, I think it was 8 when I first saw that movie. Mm-hmm. And the second I saw that character, oh, this is a good villain. Like, it was the first time I ever appreciated how he's even evil by Nazi standards, and not even for any particular reason. Like, he doesn't necessarily do anything particularly sadistic. He just seems so mean.
So much more than Belloc.
Yeah, Ronald Lacey was so good in the role that his character was supposed to die in the truck chase scene. If you read the comic adaptation, he does.
Huh.
Which seems like, why are you bringing that up? It's because the comic adaptations usually don't work from the movie. They work from a script that they're given in advance, and they're given a shooting script. So often, comic book adaptations will have scenes that aren't in the movie itself because those scenes get changed.
Right.
And one of those scenes was, Tot was in one of the car that went over the cliff that Indy rams into. Tot was originally in that car. But Spielberg loved Ronald Lacey so much and was like, you know what? I kind of feel like the audience is going to feel a little cheated if that's how you die. I kind of feel like you should be somewhere near the end and get a more, dramatic death. I don't know. We'll do something. We'll think of something that the audience will remember. It'll be memorable. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like in The Phantom Menace when Darth Maul dies. It's
yeah.
Like, what? That's it?
That is the biggest misstep of that entire prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
I was hoping that we were going to be tangling with Darth Maul for that whole trilogy.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because I think a thing that has been forgotten about Darth Vader over the years is that in the first movie, he's not the main villain of that first movie. Grand Moff Tarkin's really the guy in charge.
Yeah.
Darth Vader is more of a very, very intimidating henchman.
Right, because everybody's always saying, like, oh, Vader, you and your superstitions and all. They're scoffing at him.
Right.
And then it seems like he's clutching at more power as the movie progresses.
Yeah, so people keep acting like he's like the boss of all bosses. No, he's the Dane from Miller's Crossing. He's the guy you don't want to mess with.
And by the time you get to Empire, he's the main guy.
Oh yeah, he's choking people over Zoom.
And now let's open the mail. We've just got one box, and I'm going to unbox it. This is from Jessica in Anthem, Arizona. You're entitled to some of this swag if you so desire.
I wonder if it's edible.
Well, it looks like a whole lot of DVDs.
Ooh!
Jessica says, hello, I've been a big fan since I was a teenager, and I've always wanted to send something in, but felt too attached to my DVD Blu-ray collection to act on it. Now that I'm looking to declutter a bit, I finally have an opportunity to send some. I hope you find these picks to be interesting, and there's more where this came from if you're interested. She has got a list of the DVDs with a little bit of commentary here. I will read through this at a later time, but I will show these off right now. We've got a Sam Fuller film, White Dog.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm familiar. I haven't seen this, but I know what this is.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, it's a neo-Nazi dog, I think.
Wake in Fright.
What? Take a look at this.
Wake in Fright, Rob. This is a movie that I've heard really good things about. It is Possession with Sam Neill and Isabel Adjani.
Oh, I just saw this movie. To call it bonkers does not quite say it. But if you are a fan of extreme horror and Ken Russell and you've never seen this, do yourself the favor.
Peeping Tom, I've seen that one.
Yeah, the first slasher movie, I believe.
The Cremator, a film by Juraj Herz. Wow, this is some really good stuff.
Yeah, this is some real deep dive stuff here.
Rainier Werner Fassbender, Karel. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Red and the White, a film by Miklos Jansko. Right there. Katoshi Kurosawa, Pulse. Akaton, Pier Paolo Pasolini. Not sure I have the stomach for Pasolini, but who knows. And another by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, Cure.
Wow. This is quite the haul.
This is quite the haul. Did you say you need to see Peeping Tom?
At some point I need to see Peeping Tom.
There you go.
Yay!
Well, thanks for joining me here in the basement, Rob. I really appreciate it.
I am very excited to be here. I was just recently on a podcast, and when I mentioned that I was going to be on this show, his head exploded because apparently this is his favorite show. This is his favorite web series about film. As you know, I've been a fan of movies since forever and ever and ever. Mm-hmm. It's always fun to watch the show and kind of like, oh, what would I say in that moment? Or what would I, And I've been making fun of movies in this way, like anybody who watched MST3K in the 90s and thought I could do that.
Sure.
Thank you so much for inviting me down here. This meant a whole lot. And I'm glad that the movie was the movie that it was. I'm glad it was a fun one. I was very excited. I had not seen The Meg.
Cool. Okay, that's it.